destined to be. I'm not ready to give up. I've been living the miracle of life.
Life's a play with no rehearsal. Take it personal, cause the devil is a lie. Eh? I'm telling you the truth. Eh? Some things you gotta do. Hey. Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. So we're the day after reaction, and I want to do this video because sometimes you become prisoner of the moment. And I was, because a few people called me last night, including Tyron Brown. We ended up doing the interview, and you become prisoner of the moment, and you get excited about what you just saw and or witnessed, right? And by the way, tonight's show is gonna be a fun. I can't wait to hear y'all responses to this shit. Oh man, the reaction to Bud knocking out or TKO and Kell Brook. You know, tonight's show, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Brian Custer gonna be in the shop. We're gonna have a great time. He has an exclusive interview with Deontay Wilder dropping Tuesday. It's just gonna be a great show, man. We just gonna have fun, man. We just gonna, man, just kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You know what I mean? That's what we all gonna be on, man. That's what we gonna be on. I can't wait. This is the only show on YouTube, I think, where y'all can call in the masses and the droves and state your claims, right? You ain't got to worry about your language. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You can say if you don't like somebody. This is the only show where you can literally disagree with a guest respectfully, obviously, and have that conversation. So I'm thoroughly excited to come into the barbershop because y'all know how I felt about Bud but moving forward, here's what I think. When the fight ended, I was very impressed. I was very, very impressed with Bud. I was like, damn, this nigga did that with one punch. And then I get a call from some fighters. I get a call for some managers. I spoke to Tyron for some time yesterday. Vince, the body snatcher, and people from PBC actually called me. I actually spoke to someone from Top Rank as well. And didn't speak to no one from Dazin though. Dazin, hey, that Jamal Charlo should have never get old. It's not even spelled right. Dazin. That shit never gets old, man. And that's such an underrated, funny moment in boxing. That's such an underrated, man. Anyhow. And then this morning I woke up and I was able just to cathartically process what I saw. And here's what I want to say. Oh, y'all want disclaimers first? I bet Brook would win by knockout and or decision. I was plus 1,300 on a knockout and plus 900 on the win. So if he would have knocked him out, I win $2,300. And how I described the bet was, feel free to check my Instagram long before the fight happened. I said, this bet is like car insurance, just in case. You know what I mean? I picked Bud to win. You guys know that. But I had to have this bet in because I knew he wasn't a 10-1 underdog based off of what I saw in the past, right? And I'm watching the fight. And Kell Brook is doing exceptionally well. Not overwhelmingly defeating Bud, but winning the rounds by 2 steps, right? If this was a 100-meter race, he won by 2 steps, right? It wasn't like nip and tuck, but he was just out jabbing them, controlling the fight. And here comes Kennedy. They're having an Easter egg hunt now. Man, it's the funniest thing ever. But as I digress, man. And he was just winning the rounds, right? Workman like, boxer like, winning rounds, right? And Bud didn't really have an answer, so he flipped the southpaw and knocked him out with, I don't know if it was a counter right jab hook. I don't know what you call that punch, but it looked more jab than hook, and Kell didn't have any punch resistance. And obviously it was a punch that he didn't saw, because you saw him in the corner. Like, what happened? He didn't expect, he thought he could handle that jab. Anyway, even if he got hit with it, he thought he would be able to handle that. But as I'm thinking about this right now, and we're about 12 hours away from that fight, 15 hours away from that fight, from the ending, well, maybe 12 hours, 13. We were hoping Kell Brook was some form of resemblance of himself that he fought against Sean Porter, Triple G, and Earl Spence. He wasn't. And you don't know that until the man walks in the ring. And because of that, Terence Crawford did what he was supposed to do. He stopped the man. You understand? And now the conversation becomes, how will Terence Crawford mask or improve upon his deficiencies? He fights in a straight line. The adjustment he made was feint, counter, feint, draw Kell in, lead with the power jab, go from orthodox to southpaw, but everything was still in a straight line. You understand what I'm saying? And he doesn't have defense against, he don't have traditional defense. And that's one of his weaknesses. You understand what I'm saying? Is that his jab, like, imagine his eye in the 7th round. And everything he did against Kell Brook, you try and correlate that over to Earl Spence. And I think that Earl Spence has a power jab. Earl Spence is an elite boxer. Earl Spence has a great lead step. I've talked about that so many times on this channel. And here's the difference between Earl Spence and Bud Crawford. I need you guys to really internalize what I'm saying. The same deficiencies that Terence Crawford has as an amateur, in terms of not having the Olympic style to win against Olympians at the Olympic Training Center. Reason he didn't make the Olympic team was because he didn't have the efficiencies. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing that I saw in the Kell Brook fight. And you guys got to follow me and pay attention. Just simple things Kell Brook was doing, countering the jab. Bud never stepped off the line or pivoted off the line. He never counted him with a hook to the body. He was trying to gauge. He did a good job at the one thing Terence Crawford did an exceptional job as is every round he got an inch closer. His front foot got an inch closer, half inch close, millimeter, centimeter, and he was like, okay, he's not reacting to me getting a little bit closer. Kell Brook never threw the short hook. You understand what I'm saying? He was stiff, like mannequin-ish the whole fight. And because he didn't make the Olympic team, arguably one of the greatest competitors in the sport of boxing, got the dog, got all that, but he got some fundamental flaws that Earl Spence is great at. Earl Spence, I don't know what Earl Spence reach is, but I know it's over 67, right? He's 5'9", right? Someone put in the comment section what Earl Spence length is for the people that's gonna watch it. I'm gonna Google it at the end of this video. But Earl Spence is gonna have a jab fest against him, and then he's gonna turn that jab into a hook to the body. He's gonna raise his hands. And it's gonna be open. You understand what I'm saying? And that he's right-handed. I apologize. So it's the other side of my body. I mean, he's left-handed. So jab goes on the other side. So that's what I'm saying. Um, yeah, Bud is gonna be a dog. He's gonna compete. He's gonna land some punches. But the fact is, Bud does not have the pedigree, the pedigree to beat the best version of an A-level version of fried green tomato, which is Earl Spence, a softball version. You guys understand? You guys follow me in this video? He's gonna compete. He's gonna look good, but Earl Spence ain't gonna take that risk. Earl Spence don't have to. Earl Spence fights well going backwards. He has some problems on the ropes against Sean Porter. Most fighters typically have problems, with the exception of Floyd Mayweather. Well, I mean, Maidana did clock him at the end of that round. Only God knows what would have happened if there was 25 more seconds left in that round. So, but and Earl's able to turn him and physically maneuver him. I don't know how strong Terence Crawford is, and I don't know how strong Kell Brook is, because the fight didn't get past like the first level of exhaustion. You understand, where now you see the fighters getting tired and they start to think, and now their defense is has some shortcomings. They offense, they taking a little bit more risks. You know what I mean? They're reacting without thinking. All these things come into play after the first level of exhaustion. Then you get to the championship rounds, and then you got to have that dog. And that's where the clock cuts on for Terence Crawford. When, like as I told you, Terence Crawford don't change anything to his game plan, but go from orthodox to southpaw. He doesn't truly change his levels. He truly does, but it's like I can't find a parallel analogy, but he's a hell of a competitor. And that's what got him over. That's what's getting him over, is the fact that Bud will take that risk. He didn't have to take the risk last night. I mean, Bud was even shocked. He didn't expect him to go down with that punch. That was a lead punch to get to what he wanted to land. He wanted to land, he called it a hammer. He wanted to land that hammer with the left hand. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reality of this. Earl Spence, go watch the Mikey Garcia fight. And then in the second half of the fight, Earl gonna manipulate him. Well, this is my right hand. Earl gonna open up the glove and manipulate him and turn him to the left hand. Oh man, it's gonna be, man. Y'all got to put some respect on Earl Spence fundamentals, dog. Like, y'all niggas just walking around here like Earl got it, like Bud got it. That's not a 50-50 fight. I know we're caught up in the moment, but Terence Crawford didn't make the Olympic team for the same shortcomings he has as a pro. He can't defend the jab, and he can't fight off a pivot. Terence Crawford is great being aggressive and being the gangly, rangy fighter. But a person at the A level who throws straight punches, and it's just going to, and then once Earl start turning on him, and then once Earl step in on that jab, when they both get tired, that first level of exhaustion, when Earl goes to the body, Earl is susceptible to some overhand work. That's been proven in the Lamont Peterson fight, and it was a fight before that where he did this too. He did that in the Lamont Peterson fight as well. And sometimes he gets a little bit low. You can lean on top of Earl a little bit. You know what I mean? But Terence Crawford is a bad man. He's not a bad man that's a boxer. He's just a badass nigga in the ring. And those fundamentals is going to take a toll on him. That's why I was like, it's Kevin Garnett versus Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan got 4 rings, man. Kevin Garnett only got 1, and he had to change locations to do it. We going to fall in love. Kevin Garnett got 100 more highlights than Tim Duncan. Hundreds more. But the reality is, measure 3 times, cut once. That's who Earl Spence is. Terence Crawford sometimes don't even measure. He just looks at it and then attacks. He may measure one time. He's Kenny Rogers. You understand what I'm saying? He's the gambler. Terence Crawford takes chances in that ring. He just hasn't done it against an A-level fighter. I don't see nothing. I honestly don't see nothing that Terence Crawford does that beats Earl Spence. It's a fight. Earl gonna get hit, face gonna be swelled up. But right now that Earl Spence, and obviously we got to see what happens in the car accident. I'm making this video based upon the Sean Porter Earl Spence fight. I'm eager. We got 3 weeks. We're less than 3 weeks away now. We're less than 3 weeks away, and that's going to be an exciting thing. So let's hope. So let's see. December 6th, we're able to have this a more composite and positive 100% proof type conversation. Earl Spence versus Terence Crawford, because Danny Garcia is gonna come in here ready to go. You know, he ready to blow. So these are some real conversations that we must have, and that's the reality of it. So anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man, feel free, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to say this one more time. The same deficiencies that didn't allow Terence Crawford to be an Olympian is the same deficiencies he showed against Kell Brook last night. All right. And that's just the truth. Barbershop conversation tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We in the shop. Brian Custer, come on. We're talking shit and swallowing spit. We're going to have a good time, man. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.